What up, y'all? Welcome to PopDotComix. I'm JoJo coming at you from the Woman Cave in Vegas. So here I am with another movie review. If you haven't checked out the 10 Cloverfield Lane review that I just put up, then you should go do that. But for now, we'll be talking about Allegiant, which just came out in theaters. It is the third installment to the Divergent series. Honestly, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I was very disappointed in this movie. I went into it with pretty low expectations to begin with, but man, that was a pretty bad movie overall. Like, I can't, it's really hard for me to think of any redeeming qualities, to be honest. It also did very poorly in the box office, so that's a bummer. Yeah, I actually enjoyed Divergent. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was fun. I thought it was one of those movies you could just chill, sit back and watch without, having to think about anything, just unwinding. It's enjoyable. The second one was alright. It wasn't as good as Divergent, but it's watchable. It's not awful. It's not, it's just nothing stand out really, but it was just a nice little continuation to the story. But the third one, it really felt like it didn't even belong to the series. Like, if you tacked on another name to it and told me it's just a new series that, came out, that was released, I would buy it. I would totally believe that, because there was nothing from this film that said Divergent to me, Divergent series, like, at all. It just felt like they reintroduced, I shouldn't even say reintroduced, they introduced an entirely new story arc. And I think that's really kind of when they lost me. It was hard to believe that everything these characters accomplished in the prior two movies were just kind of undone and kind of marginalized. Like, all of a sudden those things didn't really matter, and it was about this overarching story, and and they were just guinea pigs the entire time. And like, I get what they were trying to do, because a lot of these like dystopian type movies, they always try to incorporate that, like, there's always a bigger picture in the end, like towards the end. And I understand, the whole element of surprise type of thing they wanted to do, but it just didn't work with this. Because with the prior two movies, you became so invested in what Trish was trying to do in that world, and then so when she realizes the truth on the other side of the wall, it really takes you out of it. Like, it's like, all right, well, what are we doing then? Like, do we care about the whole situation anymore if this is the actual story and that wasn't? Like, it kind of, I think that's where they really lost the audience. There are a lot of plot holes as well. For the character there's a part where he goes and he basically, like, tries to spy on whatever's going on outside of this perfect little world that they built, and it turns out that he ends up uncovering this injustice where they're like stealing kids and killing off their parents and bringing the kids back to this perfect little world that they've built. And he uncovers that, right? And he tries to tell Triss about it, and she doesn't really believe him, and it's just so convoluted at this point. And then what's crazy is they make a big deal out of those little kids and the injustice of that, and they don't ever come back to it. Like, they just let this happen. They go and do what they need to do, and they go and save their people and all that, but they never come back to these little kids. And I'm just like, wait, what? What about the little kids? Like, you just found out that, you know, they're being brainwashed and their parents are dying, and you're just gonna let it happen. Like, I don't know. I just have issues with the storyline. It just didn't work. There was another part where Four's mom, like, she basically tried to brainwash everyone or wipe their memories clean. And Four is trying to convince her not to do it. And, you know, pulls the "you're my mother" card, like, what you do to those people, you do to me, and, you know, I'm not going to remember who you are if you do this, and you're my mother. All good and dandy, right? So she starts to change her mind, gets shot in the leg while she changes her mind, falls to the floor, and Four and Tris go and save the day. But they never go back to that either. It's like, wait, what? Like, his mom just got shot and is on the floor, and he never goes back and, like, talks to her more or anything. There's no reconciliation. There's no conclusion to that story at all. Next thing you know, like, there's a scene at the end where she's just walking like normal again, and she just has a small little bandage on her knee. It's like, what? No, you cannot be walking already. You just got shot in the leg. Why are you walking around? Like if nothing happened. She didn't even have a limp. It's like, just stuff like that. It's so petty, but it just shows that, like, it's a little bit sloppy on, I guess it's the director. I don't know who is in charge of things like that, like continuity wise. There's a lot of technical things that I noticed too. The ADR was not great the first half of the film, and if you don't know what ADR is, it's basically when they go back into the studio and they re-record their lines so that it's more clear, and they sync that audio up to the picture, and a lot of it just didn't match. Like, it didn't match up, it didn't look synced, and it was just really obvious and awkward sounding at times, and that's really bad. Like, when it's so bad that it takes you out of the movie, it takes you out of the story, and it's just that jarring, like, that's not good. Was another thing I noticed. There were a couple shots where they had this weird, like, whenever it was a close-up on someone's face, had this weird, like, rack focus where, like, it's super clear for the person that you're focusing on, but everything behind them was, like, super blurry, like exaggeratedly blurry. And I know, like, that's basically what a rack focus is, but it was just so exaggerated, like something from the 80s or something. I just didn't understand the stylistic choice of that. I don't know what they were trying to do there, but it didn't really work for me. Was another thing. The thing that really bugged me about it was Tris and Four. Every time they had a scene alone together, they would start making out. And I get it, like in the first scene they're together, or, you know, maybe one after that, but like, just to establish the fact that they're together for people that haven't seen the first two maybe. But my God, they overdid it. Like, every single time these two were in any type of, like, proximity to each other, they would always just end up making out. It's like, come on. And I don't know, it was just so distracting, and like, it took me out of the movie again, and I just had to roll my eyes at that point, because it's like, alright, we get it, we get you guys care about each other, we get you're together, like, can that not be the focal point right now? There are other things that we want to find out or figure out, right? Like, but no, they just kept going back to that, and it's just like, come on, guys, ugh. What else? You know, you go to the theater to forget about the real world, and when you start noticing all these technical errors, like, that's not good, because that's part of the real world, you know? Like, you don't want to know how the movie was made. You just want to become enthralled in the movie to the point where you forget about all that, right? But no, I just kept seeing stuff. Like, there are, like, oftentimes, the CGI did not look good either. Like, I could tell when it was green screen, and it was so jarring. Like, I don't know if it was like a bad lighting job or what, but it was just, it felt like a low budget movie, and it's not a low budget movie. So I don't know what the deal was. I don't know if they were just extremely rushed, or they had to do retakes, or I don't know. It also felt like there were parts that were missing, so it felt like it was maybe recut. It was just a disaster. It was a disaster. I think it was worse than the Fantastic Four, honestly. But yeah, obviously I don't recommend this movie. The other two are fine if you just want to have fun and, you know, enjoy a movie. But yeah, I would kind of steer clear of this one. And yeah, it's unfortunate, but, you know, there's always the deads. Anyway, if you like this movie, if you like this video, go ahead and give me a like or subscribe, or both. I don't hate it. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.